Hi, hello, we're back. We're gonna do some more Dragonfall. We got two more things to do. Oh, take the U-Bahn to Frankfurt Tor, of course. Well, let's go there. Let's do that first. Come, Dante, my faithful hound. Because that was an optional one, so got to do the optional quest first, right? Travel to Frankfurt Tor to meet Luca Duer's team. Yes. Trial run. As the U-Bahn hums forward toward the Frankfurt Tor, you tug idly at the fabric of your maintenance uniform. You found it in a duffel bag on your seat when you boarded, along with a note from Duer to put it on before your arrival. The moment you step off this train, the note said, your trial run begins. You are to rendezvous with the rest of your team, reconnoiter the building, and plant the specified devices in Ailsh's suite. Beyond that, your approach will be left to you. Do not disappoint us, you're being watched. I wonder if I can fail this. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? As you emerge from the dingy confines of the U-Bahn terminal and step into the light of day, you find yourself confronted by a wall of muscle in a knight-errant uniform. You're with maintenance. It isn't a question. He stands impassively, waiting for a response. Oh, okay, I'm not going to be an ass, but that would be so funny. I wouldn't be wearing this uniform if I wasn't. Yeah, well, your fellow mop jockeys beat you here. Security checks came in green, so you're good to head into the building whenever you want to. Efficient operation you're running here. It's almost as if you were expecting me. We were. No one gets on or off the train without us knowing about it. Don't worry, all of the correct paperwork has already been filed. You and your crew are good for the next 12 hours. It's good to know that you're so on top of things. We're knight-errant. Of course we're on top of things. You get what you pay for, and the owners of this building paid for the best. Keep up the good work, man. Have a good one. First things first, let's explore. A young dwarf looks up at you, eyes wide with apprehension. From the way that she's fidgeting, you can tell that she's terrified. She bites her lower lip, eyes darting from side to side. Finally, she takes a step towards you. Hello, are you Mr. Wolf? I take it you're on my maintenance crew. Yeah, I am. My name's Jana. She tries on a smile. It falls away almost immediately. You sound nervous. Are you sure you're up for this? I'll be okay, but I have some bad news for you. Our teammates sort of jumped the gun a little bit. They're already inside. I can't fault their enthusiasm. The dwarf wrings her hands. I'm sorry, I told them to wait, but they didn't listen. They just muscled on past me and waltzed through the door. Alright, calm down. I see that you have a toolbox. Do you have something stashed in there for the run? In a manner of speaking. She opens the box and shows you its contents. It's packed to the brim with an assortment of hand tools. It's not like you not like the others. You should probably know that. I'm not like you. You'll have to clarify that. Violence makes me sick to my stomach. I've never broken into a building or stolen anything in my life. I guess that what I'm trying to say is that I'm not a criminal. I'm just an electrician. If you're not a Shadowrunner, what are you doing on this crew? I'd rather not talk about it. Let's just say that someone did me a favor once, and that coming along on this thing is how I have to pay it back. Look, in the end it doesn't matter. I have to be on this run, and you have to bring me along. That's what they want. Do you at least know how to defend yourself? Well, kind of. I brought my taser, and I have a little hold-out pistol for self-defense. I've done some shooting at the range, but I've never fired at a living thing before, certainly not a person. I'm hoping that we can get through this without me having to. That makes 2 of us. When did our teammates abandon you? About 10 minutes ago. I watched them storm through the front doors of the building we're going to hit. Oh, son of a bitch. They'll still be on the first floor. Nobody's getting upstairs until I bypass the security locks on the elevator. That's why I decided to wait for you out here. I figured that they couldn't get too far ahead of us if I didn't go inside with them. Good thinking. Thanks. I just hope they don't screw things up in there. All that I want is to get this thing over with and back home. Speaking of, let's get moving. Let's do this. A mid-level compound complete with living spaces on the upper levels. Right, before we go in, we obviously explore. It's too high to reach. Son of a biscuit. Hello, and who are you? The waitress steps forward to greet you, a drink menu in her hand. Welcome to Caff Shack, home of the budget-friendly caffeine fix. May I help you? What do you have? We've got the cheapest soy caff in Berlin, guaranteed. She pauses for a moment and looks you up and down. You've been around long enough to know when you're being sized up. Finally, she continues. But of course, for hard-working folks like yourself, we do have other options. Options that corporate security doesn't tend to appreciate very much. Productivity enhancers. Get the picture? Yeah, you don't need to speak in code. I'm not going to narc on you. Tell me about these other options. She smiles slyly. I've got just thing for that big presentation or that make or break annual report. It's called Jolt and it's amazing. Imagine a great big cup of caff, only without the nasty crash of the jittery stomach. You can take as many as you need without winding up in hospital, and each one will keep you up for a couple of hours. Sounds too good to be true. Well, it's pricey, and there are some minor side effects. If you take more than 5 in a single sitting, you'll probably get a nosebleed. I don't think that anyone has ever tried drinking more than 10 at once. She pauses, considering. Yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend that. Jolt. No thank you, lady. Keep your shit. Keep your shit. Don't you have somewhere to be? Yes, I do. Here, in fact. As you step through the door, you find yourself confronted by a pair of men wearing the same kinds of uniform that you are. Judging by their expressions, there is no love lost between the two. Hearing the door swing open, they turn to face you. The shorter of the two, a human with arcane symbols tastefully embossed onto his belt, glares at you. You're here, finally, and you brought a little mouse of an electrician with you. Better late than never, but not much better. You're tardy enough as it is. He jerks his thumb at the elf standing beside him. I'll leave it to you to keep our pack mule in line. The elf's lips curl into a snarl. Hanging from his back is a bulging pack that looks incredibly heavy. His broad shoulders sag under the weight of whatever's inside. He's dumb as a post, but he can lift heavy things. Might not be bad in a fight either. At the very least, he can soak up a few bullets for the rest of us. Staring daggers at the mage, he spits out a long string of foreign words in a single, susurrant breath. The sound of it is lovely, but his expression leaves little doubt that the message behind the words is an ugly one. Oh, and I hope that you can speak Sperethiel. He shakes his head in disgust. Damned useless immigrants. Did I hear that right? Did you really say that I was tardy? I mean, what are you going to do? Send me to detention? Wonderful. Late and a smartass. He glances down at his chronometer. I have an important meeting in a few hours, so let's get to the penthouse and plant the cameras. I'll mask them against detection, and then we can all go our separate ways. The elf mutters something under his breath, and hitches the bulky pack up a little higher on his back. His muscles bulge under the strain of it. Are you sure that our friend here only speaks Spirithial? To my immense disappointment, yes, a Ter-Tengir dialect by the sounds of it. I wish that he'd do us all a favour and go back. Can you understand me at all, brother? The elf's dialect is completely foreign. It's quite unlike the form of Spirithial spoken by the elves of Ter-Nanog. You only managed to catch a few words. You terrible insolence of threatening, see if at all. Look, just be calm, my friend. Your words don't seem to have much impact. The elf's scowl deepens. I get the distinct impression that none of you actually want to be here, but we've got a job to do, so you're all going to have to suck it up and deal. The mage leers at you. Wonderful pep talk. Really, really magnificent. I can see why you were placed in charge of this run. Now, can we please get moving? I don't have all day. We know, you have a meeting. I can get us into Elsha's apartment, but there are a few things that we'll need to do first. If you can get me into a building access panel that's on the same circuit as the penthouse, I should be able to put its security system into maintenance mode. The job will take some creative rewiring. Well, that and whatever in the pack that the elf is carrying. Our employers gave me the schematics. And do you know where we'll find that access panel, Mouse? Quit calling me that. She takes a moment to calm herself. And yes, I do. There's an access panel in one of the mid-range apartments on the same floor. My contact gave me a key code that should get us in. You've said should twice already. This makes me feel uneasy. Well, there's nothing I can do about that. It's the plan I was given, and we're stuck with it. Unless you have a better idea, we'll just have to follow our instructions and hope for the best. She turns to face you. Get me to a building access terminal on this floor, and I can rewire the elevator. That's the first thing that we need to do. Once we're upstairs, we use the code I was given. I rewire Elsha's security system, and we hide the cameras in his apartment. Well, that's the theory, anyway. This just gets better and better. Alright, team, move out. Right, what have I got? Get Jarnus to the utility room, get the team upstairs, have James hide the cameras. Okay, hello stressed suit. The well-dressed orc stops his pacing to stare at you as you approach. Heavy worry lines etch his forehead, and his eyes are bloodshot. Looks like he hasn't slept in a month. I don't want to be rude, but I'm a little busy right now. If this is about building maintenance, take it someplace else. James's cheeks flush red. He takes a step forward. Watch it. You don't get to talk to me like... The orc bristles. Like a janitor? Yes, I do, because that's what you are. If you want to keep wearing that uniform, you better watch the attitude. Now, isn't there a floor you should be cleaning or something? I've got a lot on my mind to worry about. Important things. I don't want to be bothered. You think that just because we're in maintenance, we don't understand what you're going through? I have 621Bs to file before the day is out, and if I don't, I can kiss my efficiency bonus goodbye. With a visible effort, he calms himself. Look, sorry, I'm not trying to be unpleasant. It's just that I have a huge presentation to give to the board in 20 minutes. I stayed up all night practicing it, and now I'm so tired I can't even remember my own name. That's rough. He shakes his head miserably. I'm going to botch this, and the worst part is, most of these bastards will assume it's because I'm an orc. They already make jokes behind my back. After this, it's going to get a lot worse. That's tough, man. I know what to do. I know what to do. I'm going to buy some of that stuff and give it to him. I'm glad they're all following me. It doesn't look extremely suspicious that a new maintenance crew has turned up, walked inside the building, and now we're all randomly piling back out again. I would like to confirm, please, and I'll swap it with that. Did that do it? What happened? I want some jolt. Fuck my life. Right, there we go. I have the jolt. Here you go, my friend. Don't you worry. This will sort you right out. About your board meeting, I've got something that might help pick you up. Is that Jolt? I haven't had that since I graduated from business school. Oh man, that stuff's the best. Here you go. It's all yours. No, I can't just take it from you. I know how much that stuff can cost. But here's what I can do. I'm going to give you my room code. When you're making the rounds, doing your maintenance thing, you can stop by and grab my credit stick off the table. There's a couple of hundred neon on it. Credit stick on the table. Got it. Just do us both a favor and promise that this won't, that you won't take anything else, okay? I'm trusting you with this. Yes. Yeah, I promise. Right, there's a door over there. There's a lady here. There's a counter here. A boutique food kiosk. The sign out front advertises a variety of locally sourced foodstuffs, all of them terribly overpriced. Take a closer look. Glancing at the self-serve refrigerated section on the kiosk, you find a variety of sandwiches wrapped in slick plastic. You could eat for a week for the price of one of these things. Wait, that canteen is like... is in their foyer. Why? Hello, Taylor. The saleswoman's expression brightens your approach. Welcome to Dunkley's Fine Clothiers. Are you shopping for a suit? A fashionable business suit made of ballistic cloth catches your eye. It would be a simple matter to slide it on under your baggy maintenance overalls. Let me see the suit. Good choice, style and safety. You have a good eye. Sure, why not? Joanna studies the junction box for a moment, then turns to face you. See that guard in the hallway? Well, he was standing next to a junction box just like this one. Looks like they're both on the same circuit too. So I could use this one to overload the one that the guard is standing by. She looks at the junction box again and nods. Yeah, I could feed a nice power spike into that one from here. You know, if you wanted me to. What would that do? Make a loud bang and arc enough voltage into that hallway to knock out a gang of trolls. Let's find another way past. So actually, that's the way I want to go. What's in here? Corporate woman. A well-groomed corporate couple stands in the corner, borrowing racks of pamphlets about neural enhancement headwear. The woman's head turns at the sound of your approach. Upon seeing your uniform, her nose wrinkles. Oh, hello. Are we in your way? We wouldn't want to keep you from your work. Her spray-tanned husband chimes in. Right, the last thing we want to come between is you people and whatever it is that you do. Just browsing. Did you here to buy? Not for ourselves, but yes, we're here for our son. Our little Hans deserves the very best, and he'll need it if he's going to compete with his classmates at the academy. That means headwear from Augmentech. We may not be as rich as other parents, but this, at least, is something that we can do. This stuff isn't cheap, you must be very devoted parents. I'd like to think that we are, and no, it isn't cheap, but unfortunately, these sorts of enhancements have become nearly mandatory at top-tier schools like the Academy. Our son's classmates come from affluent families. Even the least successful of Hans's peers has a pediatric encephalon, and it ranges on up from there. The Academy grades on a curve. If we were to send Hans to a school without any enhancements, we'd be setting him up for failure. What about the kids that can't afford cyber surgery? The scholarship students, you mean? He pauses, considering. Well, I suppose that someone has to be at the bottom of the pile. But that someone won't be our Hans. It's an unfortunate situation, of course. He cocks his head apologetically. But then, that's the world we live in, isn't it? So the rich kids get the deck stacked in their favour, and the kids who got where they are on merit get shafted. Sounds about right. Like I said, it's the world we live in. Yeah, it is. You wouldn't want Hans to wind up at the bottom of the heap like me. I should say not. You seem like a good man, and I don't mean to insult you, but you know how cutthroat it is out there. Hans will have every advantage, even if I have to mortgage the house to provide it for him. Okay, goodbye, assholes. Yeah, we've got some repair work to do. The flux dilator is leaking coolant. Real messy job, believe me. His eyes widen. Is that dangerous? We should call security. No need to bother security. We're on the job. You two enjoy your shopping. The woman behind the counter smiles at you, her cheeks dimpling. Good afternoon and welcome to Augmentech, the boutique that makes a better you of you. Her voice is overflowing with forced cheerfulness. Idly, you wonder how many times she has to give this exact speech every day. Tell me how I can help you today. I might be in the market. Then you've come to the right place. Please feel free to browse our catalogue. We have a huge stock of performance-enhancing augmentations to make you into the person you've always dreamed you could be. Scanning over the tastefully designed catalogue, you find that most of Augmentech stock consists of overpriced cosmetic cyberware, metabolic tweaks to help burn away cellulite, ruthenium polymer hair extensions, ultra-expensive leonization treatments aimed at wealthy septuagenarians. Toward the back of the catalogue, you find some more practical chrome, but nothing that a Shadowrunner would want. From designer replacement limbs to nephretic screens for alcoholics, Augmentech carries the very best in fashionable implants for the ultra-rich. The mental enhancement section is a little more promising, but you don't see anything that you could already find in the Cruise Bazaar. You're about to turn away when an ad on the last page grabs your attention. The newest iteration of the encephalon system, complete with an integrated math SPU. The encephalon Next, as it's called, is bleeding-edge commercial-grade technology. Non-compete agreements prevent it from being sold at most stores, but you found one that carries it. Hey, this headwear looks interesting. Mind if I take a look? She glanced at the item on screen. Looking at the encephalon, huh? Good choice. Our regional supervisor has one, and it's amazing. Totally worth the price. What is the price? We're doing a special right now. Only 250 nuyen. That's actually really cheap. Okay. Wonderful, good choice. I'll just swipe your cred stick, then I'll print up the purchase order. Where do I go to get it installed? Is your dock in the back or something? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm afraid you don't understand. We're a boutique shop, not a cyber surgery clinic. We can sell you the device and have it sent to the clinic of your choice for installation, but we don't do the surgery here. Of course, your doctor will bill you separately for installation, but this way you can ensure that the procedure is carried out wherever you're most comfortable. Yeah, go on. You are now the proud owner of the Encephalon Next. We'll have it sent to the triage cyber clinic, as per your request. When you arrive, just show the doctor or a member of his staff the proof of purchase you're holding, and he'll know what to fetch for you. Thank you, sir. Okay. So there was a little old door down here. Hello. The guard steps forward, interposing himself between you and the terminal. Your security clearance doesn't authorize you to be in here. We're doing a building-wide maintenance sweep of all major systems. Want to take a look at your terminal? You know that I can't do that. You don't have the appropriate clearance to touch this terminal, let alone service it. Besides, it's been running great since that other maintenance team worked on it last week. I'm surprised that you don't have that in your records. You know how it is with us in management. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. It's ridiculous. Story of my life. You have my sympathies. Okay, bye-bye. So my options so far are attack that guy. Electrocute this. An electrical junction box. The guard stance shifts slightly as you approach. Can I help you? Yeah, could you open the door to the utility area? We have work to do in there. You can't read the guard's expression through his mirrored face mask, but his body language makes it clear that he's staring at you. This door is security coded, Delta grade. Your ID says that you're just Theta, so no, I can't open the door. You're not listening, we have work to do in there. I heard him loud and clear, mob jockey. Now you listen to me. Nobody without Delta clearance gets through this door. Period. I suggest that you talk to management. If you really do need to be in here, they'll upgrade your clearance. Otherwise, piss off. Cool down. We're on the same side here. This is a dispatch problem, I'm sure of it. I don't envy you guys having to work with them every day. The guard's shoulders relax. Yeah, I hear you. I swear it's amazing that anyone gets anything done around here at all. Tell you what, you don't need to go all the way back to management. Just call in and get your clearance changed. I'll let you guys in as soon as the authorization comes through. Nah, I better go take care of this in person. But one thing before I go. Instead of this week's protocols, they sent us out with last week's. Anything changed since then? He shakes his head. Unbelievable. You know, it makes my blood boil to think how much money they make. It's people like you and me that actually keep this place running, and yet the idiots at dispatch pull in triple what we do for sitting on their asses and fouling everything up. Right there with you, man. Now about those protocols. Yeah, let's see. They changed the emergency assistance code from November to Indigo. I think that's it. Everything else should be the same from last week. Indigo. Yeah, thanks. Now I'd better head back to management and get that clearance issue sorted. He nods sagely. Best of luck, pal. Do us all a favour and call out those idiots at dispatch. Not that it'll do any good. On second thought, don't bother saying anything. They just wind up getting another raise. Don't I know it? Am I being an idiot, or am I missing something? I've already told you can't get in here. Get moving, or I'll have to escort you. Escort you out. Your buddy across the way wanted me to give you a message. Status Indigo compromised. Does that mean anything to you? The guard jerks upright in alarm. He said, what? Step out of my way, please. Doopy doop boop boo. The terminal is logged into the building's security system. It should be relatively simple to trick its threat assessment software into sending out a false positive. Enter the false data into the system to indicate the threats, blah blah blah. Few response codes flash on the screen. You there, maintenance guy. Stop right there. Stop where you are. Is there a problem? You damn straight there is. You lied to me. Nobody called Code Indigo, and when dispatch took a closer look at your work orders, they found that they were fakes. You're all coming with us. The mage's hand ignites with arcane energy. His mouth curls into an ugly smile. This is the end of the line for you boys. Bad luck. Hold on everyone, we can still talk this out. She begins to stammer out an agreement, her eyes wide. Yeah, we don't want any trouble. The guards jerk their weapons out of their holster and turn to fire. When was my last save? Because I feel like I fucked something up. 152. When was that? I don't want to set off any alarms, guys. No, no, no. Aha. Your buddy said something. Then he goes and runs off. Then we say... Okay, so we do that, but then what do we do? Like, is there something else I'm missing? Everything's fine, we're just doing routine checks, don't let us get in our way. Enjoy your day. Welcome back, I don't need anything else. Oh, maybe now we can overload this. So is it time to zap some guards? Yep. Theta key card. I thought you already had that. Utility grid hub. Doopy doop boop boo. Wordlessly, Jana pops an access panel at the base of the terminal and begins snapping wires. A few minutes later, she places the panel's cover and stands. Alright, that should do it. I bypassed the security lock on the elevator. We're good to head upstairs. That was quick. I know my way around electrical systems. My father used to own rental properties all over Munich, and I helped him maintain them. I've been rewiring buildings since I was a little girl. Touching. I don't know what this has to do with getting me to my meeting, but please, by all means, keep waltzing down memory lane. We'll wait. He's right, we're on a timetable. Let's go. The dwarf nods. Yeah, of course. Sorry. Alright, I'm going to need you to get me to this floor's access panel. That'll be in room 303 on this floor. The door combination is 14291. Make sure to write that down. I've got it. Okay, once I'm there, I can put the penthouse door in maintenance mode. That'll set its key code combination to 11111. So we shouldn't have any trouble getting in to plant the cameras. We've been making halfway decent time. Not good, but not terrible. But I can't afford any more delays. I hope that no one else gets in our way, for their own sake. Yeah, tough guy. You're in a hurry, we get it. Now shut up about it already. The ugly smile falls away from his face. What replaces is uglier. If I weren't under instruction to follow your lead, this would be a very different conversation. Yeah? Well, you are, so shut up and deal with it. She shakes her head in disgust. God, I wish that we didn't need you to finish this job. His lip curls into a sneer. Sadly for all of us, you do. Oh, and by the way, you're going to have words... we're going to have words when this run is over, Mouse. A stream of caustic syllables pours out of the elf's mouth. His back is stooped under the weight of the pack, but his hands have clenched into fists. He rolls his eyes and points a bony finger at the elf. Look, it's trying to speak. I want to get this over with, Wolf. I want to get away from these people and go home. Well, okay. Right, that's the penthouse. Someone gave us some suit store code. 53786, and we know 303s. 53786. Maybe it's this one. This trendily designed panel reads apartment 301. A slick high-grade keypad has been mounted into the doorframe. Scan key or enter override. 53786. Welcome, homeowner. Hello, it is I. The door leads out of the building's fire escape. Not a bad way to make an expedient retreat. Okay, that'll be handy. Especially because we don't get experience or loot for killing shit, do we? So we don't know what 302s is, but we do know what 303s is. Wait, what's this one then? The information that glows on the console display reads information security personnel only. In place of a keypad, the console ports a smooth Duraplast panel with a data port at its center. Seeing that the building management doesn't want laymen tampering with this machine. Then I can do fuck all with that. A slick high-grade keypad has been mounted into the door frame. Use the keypad. This was 14291. Welcome, homeowner. Moving the painting aside, you find a large maintenance access panel. Joanna steps forward, a slight frown on her face. Okay, I guess that this is me. She pulls a multi-tool from her belt and uses it to loosen the bolts that hold the panel in place. Pulling up a schematic on her PDA, she examines the terminal's wiring. Hurry it up, woman, the clock is ticking. Don't rush me, this is complicated. Popping the lid on her tool gun, she grabs a pair of wire clippers, a soldering gun, and a roll of electrical tape. With a look of grim determination on her face, she begins to snip into a massive harness of cables that runs through the unit. Alright, she taps the elf on the knee. I'm going to need that thing now. He nods and reaches back to unsling his pack. Placing it on the floor, he opens it and pulls out a large blue canister. It takes all of his strength to wrestle it up from the ground and into the space in the access panel that Jana has cleared. There you go, you dumb ox. Do something useful for a change. The elf says nothing. Unburdened by the heavy pack, he stands up straight, and for the first time, you appreciate how much larger he is than the corporate mage. He stares down at James and his hands bunch into fists. Stay cool, man. We're almost done. If the elf understands you, he shows no sign of it. He continues to stare down at James, and the mage continues to ignore him. Payload in place, Jana goes back to work. It only takes a few minutes for her to screw, wire, and solder the canister into the harness. She inspects her work, nods, and turns to face you. She stands and brushes the hair out of her eyes. Alright, job's done. Just need to do a bit of cleanup and we can get out of here. Nice job, Jana. Yeah, thanks. It wasn't all that difficult, just a matter of following our employer's instructions. Hey, that's great, but time's a ticking, so let's keep moving. He glances at the jumble of wire and circuitry through the open access panel. To hell with the cleanup, we'll be gone before anyone notices anyway. What was the canister you put into the terminal? Beats me. For all I know, it could be full of pixie dust. They just said I had to wire it onto the wall at this junction, so I did. I'm not comfortable with how little we know about this run. The mage sneers. You haven't been doing this long, have you? The lodge doesn't tell you things that you don't need to know, and you don't ask. Your job is to do what they tell you, take the money, and keep your mouth shut about it afterwards. All very simple. The lodge? The mage's eyes widen incredulously. You don't even know who you're working for, do you? You're leading this team and you don't have a clue. Jana cuts in, her eyes wide. Both of you shut up, somebody's coming. A tall, deep-tanned man rounds the corner at a jog and comes bustling into the room. You recognize him as the father that you spoke to at the Augmentech kiosk. He stops short when he sees you and the smile falls from his face. You, the guy from the cyberware kiosk. What the hell's going on here? He advances on you, full of bluster and bravado. This is my apartment. I own it. You can't just waltz in here and start pulling walls apart without my consent. We're maintenance. Look at the uniforms. Yeah, I see that. But that doesn't give you the right to force your way into my home and start tearing up my walls. At the very least, you should have given me advance notice. James shoots you an irritated glance. This is a waste of time and I'm already running late. If you don't take care of this idiot, I will. The elf barks something out at James. The sound is uncharacteristically ugly, all harsh consonants and sibilant hisses. Let's keep calm, everyone. This is a simple misunderstanding. Misunderstanding my ass? Your friend just called me an idiot in my own home. He wheels on James, his hands balled into fists. I want to know your employee number, and I want to know it now. The mage raises an eyebrow, smiling. Do you now? I'm a member of the Homeowners Association for this level. You know what that means? I have a lot of pull with building management. He thrusts an outstretched finger at James. Your days wearing that uniform are numbered, I promise you. Calm down, sir. There must be a problem at dispatch. You should have received a work order last week. I didn't receive a thing from dispatch, or from anyone else for that matter. My wife and I are entertaining guests here in an hour and a half, and our living room is ruined. I need to know that you're going to fix this, and that you'll clean the place back up, and that you'll put a new coat of wax on the floors. I need... To hell with it. I don't have time for this. His hands twist into claws and he raises them high. An instant later, they are wreathed in an unnatural purple glow. James, stand down. We do not need to kill this man. The glow intensifies into a scintillating torrent of light. The energy lances and stabs out of James' hooked fingers as if it were alive. The man in the doorway recoils in alarm and his palm slaps down on the plastic disc that has been clipped to his belt. Too late, you recognize the object, a panic button. No alarm sound. Nothing happens. The homeowner backpedals, trying to put a wall between himself and James. He's moving too slowly, much too slowly. Everybody stand down. Your words are met with an incomprehensible screech in your peripheral vision, and you catch a flurry of motion. Your elvish companion is moving, making a beeline towards James. Jana is hanging off of him, trying to slow him down, but he barely seems to notice. With a kick, he sends her tumbling to the ground, then reaches for his weapon. Stop! Damn it, we need him alive to complete the run! With a kick, he sends her tumbling to the ground, then turns back towards James. I hate the bastard too, but Jana's right, we need him. The elf comes up short, staring at you. He sweeps his vision from you to Jana to James. Then he exhales heavily and spits out a jumble of broken German. Killers, innocents of, will not stand for. I not slave. All lodgemen bastards. I kill all. Why are you being an asshole? Bum. How much health has he got left? Right, okay, well... that perhaps could have gone better. I blame the lodge for that though. They're sending me on missions with people who hate each other, and they don't even do background checks. Use the keypad, so this should be 11111 now. Maintenance override accepted. The mage wipes spatters of blood from his cheek with the back of his hand. He attacked me, our elf. The fucker tried to kill me. You've been insulting him ever since we arrived here. What did you think was going to happen? His face flushes red. If you'd been a better group leader, you wouldn't have let that happen. You'd have... For the love of God, shut up. Just stop talking. We're both sick to death of you. You need me to finish the mission. Yeah, that's true. But if you don't shut that smug mouth of yours right now, you're going to arrive at the meeting without a tongue. Without another word, the mage turns and stalks off in the direction of the penthouse. We'll put a camera here. You place the first camera, it adheres to the ceiling with an audible click. James steps forward, his fingers bent. He whispers a long string of hushed syllables that seem to vibrate in your mind. For a moment, nothing seems to happen. Then you blink and the camera is gone. Done. Get moving to the next one. I will take an advanced medkit, why not? Second camera clips onto a heating vent. The lens irises to adjust to the light. James repeats his previous performance and the camera fades. Whoop. You place the last camera. James steps forward, then turns to stare you in the eye. When we get through this run, I'm going to tell my handler all about you. You won't work for the lodge again. Not because you're an incompetent leader, but because I have pull, and I don't like you very much. What do you have to say about that? This entire run is a test. I think that you're here to tempt me into losing my cool. That isn't going to happen. That infuriating smirk returns to his face. Yeah, that's right. This is all about you. Just keep on believing that, and see where it gets you. He whispers to the third camera, and soon enough it fades from view. Suddenly an alarm blares to life. James jerks his head back. Damn it! I knew that this would happen if I didn't kill that spray-tanned jackass. I knew it. His hands hook into claws, and the air seems to shimmer around him. Looks like we're fighting our way out of here. Yet another unnecessary delay. Yeah, but we have an escape plan. We can go this way. The door leads out to the building's fire escape. Yeah. But now we're apparently fighting? too sure who we're fighting, but... Ah. Hells yeah. Right, come on, James. What can you do? 47% chance of hitting. Oh, I didn't even see that fucker. You. I feel, James, like you might want to heal yourself. And... Right, that's you down. You've gone to run out in the open. What are you doing? How'd it go? Apparently there is another enemy. That being the case, why don't we send our little companion here this way, see if we can find where the enemy is. Hello. Bring you over here. Let's set you up on Overwatch here. Oh, he's running away, coward. Yeah, buddy. Why am I, so unable to act? I don't have any issues. Why do we only have 1 AP? Action pool is 2. Is 1 being taken by this guy, maybe? Nice. Off we toddle. Mission accomplished. Fucking finally. Call your handler and tell him the job's done. And be quick about it. I need to be on the next train out of here. For once, he and I are in agreement. I can't put this place behind me quickly enough. All I want to do is go home, hug my cat, and forget that tonight ever happened. Enter the comcode Luca Dwyer gave you. A few seconds later, you hear the telltale click of a successful connection. Dwyer's voice pours out of your PDA speakers. Wolf, the job is done, I trust? Yes, everything has been completed to your specifications. Very good. Now, if you please, give me a status update on the members of your team. The elf from Tier 10 gear turned on us. We had to put him down, but Jana and James are both alive and well. He clucks his tongue softly. Interesting. That the elf is dead was expected. He was a dangerous and unreasonable person, disgruntled, you might say, after years of service in our employ. His betrayal of you was inevitable. Thankfully, with his death, we have gained valuable insight into your character. James's continued survival, on the other hand, was not expected. You're a very patient man, Wolf. Dwyer smiles. This has been most informative. James's posture stiffens, but he says nothing. You can see a dawning awareness behind his eyes, though. Slowly, the colour begins to drain from his face. Now, let us see how adequately you completed the task that I set before you. Enter the following code into your PDA, if you please. 5256719. You type it in. A moment later, a familiar image materializes on the screen. The penthouse room that you booked. It appears to be a live feed from the cameras that you planted. You're sure that this room is secure? You've done a full sweep? Absolutely, sir. We've run multiple sweeps with a complete sensor package, and we brought in a mage to search for signs of astral tampering. It all checks out clean. You're completely safe in here. He lets out a heavy sigh. Thank God. Call downstairs and let my wife and kid know that it's safe to come up. Will do, sir. Is there anything else I can do for you tonight? No, thank you. That will be all. Have a good... Suddenly, the air in the room seems to ignite. There is a blinding flash, and your PDA screen cuts to static. And that takes care of that. Please return to the Cruise Bazaar. The remainder of your post-run interview will conclude upon your arrival. What the hell was that? What did it feel like? An explosion, of course. You lied to me, Dwyer. I told you that you'd be planting bugs, and you did plant bugs. You did a wonderful job of it, I might add. Jana's job was to plant the bomb, but we can discuss all of this upon your return. Jana covers her mouth with her hand, a horrified expression on her face. Oh God, I killed someone. That man is dead because of me. From the sound of that explosion, I'd guess that you killed a fair number of someone's. Ailshire and his bodyguard at the very least, and probably a good half a dozen more. A morbid grin creases the Major's thin-lipped mouth. That makes you a mass murderer, Mouse. You're moving up in the world. A sob racks her chest. She begins to hyperventilate. I can never get away from this. This is going to follow me for the rest of my life. I killed people. I'm a fucking murderer. Say it louder, why don't you? I don't think they heard you in France. I haven't heard a response from you, Wolf. Shall I make preparations for your post-run interview? Are you ready to continue your test? I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about this, Dwyer. I'll be seeing you soon. Very good. I'll be waiting. That son of a bitch. Your return trip to the Cruise Bazaar is a quiet one. The train from the Frankfurter tour is empty save for you. There's nothing to distract you from your thoughts. You're finished with the first part of your audition. Luca Dwyer is waiting at Cafe Sir Zervergerge to administer the second. Anything going on? Hello again, my friend. You accepting donations? Nope. Have you got anything else to say? Lane looks to have mostly recovered from whatever happened the other day. A few butterfly stitches keep closed the lacerations on his face, and his damaged prosthetic looks to be functioning normally once again. What brings you around today? I want to talk about what happened the other day. The old soldier glowers, but given his physical handicaps and his recent injuries, he hardly makes for an intimidating figure. Troll size notwithstanding. Hang my hoop. I'm not a child, man. I'm not helpless. And even if I was, leave me to whatever fate I've earned. Who was it? Someone who heard an unfounded rumour. A rumour about me joining up with Orc, presumed favourite polyclub among us trogs. Maybe he was Humanus, or maybe just another Flux fanatic who thought the balance of power would be upset by me joining with Orc. I don't know and I don't care. I just want to be left alone. What did they want? He wanted to dissuade me from lending my voice or experience to any pro-metahuman parties. I tried to talk him down, tried to explain my fighting days are done, but he wouldn't believe me. Bastard made a liar of me when I beat him with my crutch. Will they be back? Not if they know what's good for them. Last time they caught me alone, taking a shortcut through an alley. I won't make that mistake again. I'm sticking close to home and close to Samuel and his people. That's why they won't shy away from a fight. Alright, we'll leave it at that for now. I want to hear more about your part in the Euro Wars. Problem with a tight-knit community like the Cruise Bazaar is that you can't escape who you are. Fine. You want to hear it? I'll tell it. The old trog leans heavily on his crutch and takes a steadying breath. I was a colonel in the Finnish army. During the First Euro War, the Jaeger Brigade was mine. For decades we'd used ATVs, Nasus and bandvagns, mostly, slow lumbering things, but built for the snows of the Lapland. I was the one who changed all that, moving us over to T-birds, made us fast and nimble. The Russians were still slow, and though they had us outnumbered and outgunned, we could run circles around them. I'm not sure when, and I'm not sure who, but the comparison was made to Rommel. Arctic Fox followed soon thereafter. But I don't celebrate the title. Far too many young soldiers died under the command of the Arctic Fox. This is why some ask me to fight, and this is why I refuse. Ayo! What we got here? Sniper Specialist. That is Interdiction Shot. Fires a discarding Sabot HTI round that ignores armor completely. Or Shotgun. Gains a shotgun ability that sets the target on fire. Definitely Sniper. You increase decking or ESP. Let's go decking. You gain fray armor. 2 hits and each hit strips 2 armor. Or pistol. No, you're a claw girl. We all know that. Nerve spear. Dietrich's nerve bolt now flushes enemies from cover when they're hit, or gives him +1 armor. Yeah, let's fuck them out from cover, obviously. Let's have a little run around, talk to people, see if anyone wants to tell us anything new. The girl stares blankly into the vacant sky. She's still sporting a black eye, and there are fresh tears on her cheeks, but she doesn't seem to notice them. You don't look too good. It doesn't matter how I look out here, only how I look in here. Kim touches a skinny finger to her temple. She then lowers her gaze from the heavens and regards you, her eyes showing slightly more clarity than before. Been thinking, remembering, wondering. Do you want to talk about the black eye? Zack said not to. He said I might get hurt again. Did he do that to you? No, of course not. Zack wouldn't hurt a fly. But the man who did this knew Zack. He said they used to work together before they came to the Cruise Bazaar. But he said he wasn't allowed to stay because of Monica. She said he was bad for the Cruise Bazaar, and the man didn't like that. Now he wants to come back. He wants to be the new Zack. He told me he had better stuff. Let me try it. But then she touches a finger to her black eye. He said to tell Zach that he was coming back to take what was his. If Monica kept him out, it was for good reason. If you say so. What have you been thinking about? Kim hugged herself tightly around her midsection, drawing herself in, doing the impossible of making herself even thinner. I'm not sure I want to talk about it. I only ever talked about it with Monica. I'm here to listen, just like Monica was. Okay. She takes a breath to ready herself, then bites a lip as her eyes search the unseen. Monica said I would forget. She thought the Sims might help. In there I'm strong, and I never have to lose anyone. But then I come back out here, where children play in the streets, and I remember. Where I see Doc Escabel, and I remember. He was mad at me for losing her, but now I don't know if he even remembers. He looks right through me, but I did what he told me. I saw him every month. I took the medicine. I got as much food as I could, but he said it wasn't enough. That I could never be. Monica said a mother is always a mother, even when her baby dies inside her. She said she would go to heaven. Shit. I'm sorry, Kim. Anything I can do? No, I'm okay, thank you. You got anything more for me, Lucky Strike? Her gear piled atop a nearby bar stool. She isn't smoking. She gives you a nod as you approach. Hey again, Wolf. What's up? Do you ever think about an organization called The Lodge? Dware's group, you mean? Sure, I've done a few jobs for them. They pay well. The whole ominous secret organization thing they tried to keep going is a little weird, but whatever. Money is money, and they've got it. What can you tell me about him? Best that I can tell, he's just a middle-rung toady, like any other corporate suit that you deal with before a run. Only difference is that his organization isn't a corp. I think he's a little fresh-faced for what the Lodge has him doing. In the beginning, there was some credibility issues. I had a hard time taking the guy seriously, but then he started waving wads of Nguyen around, and that all cleared up in a flash. After that, afraid that I can't help you dig any deeper, he's an occasional client. She takes a sip of scotch and chases it with a long drag on her cigarette that I was just told that she wasn't smoking. Even if I knew more about Dwyer, I wouldn't tell you. Shadowrunners who kiss and tell have a funny way of dying young. You said that you've got a team in MIT. I'd like to hear more about them. She shrugs. They're good people. They get the job done. What else do you need to know? Their names, for one. You know my team. I'd like to know something about yours. Alright, sure. Why not? We've got Rakta. He's a rigger, an immigrant from the Russian Republic. Genius mechanic and engineer. The guy built his own crawler form drone, and he's impressive as hell at piloting it. There's Barracuda, the team's shaman and faceman. He's an elf in his mid-40s. He's got the whole Silver Fox thing working for him. He conducts most of our negotiations. Great card player. Harnchan is our decker and requisite tough guy. Troll, huge, covered in tats and piercings. You know the type. I'm pretty sure that he and Barracuda have a thing going on, but they'll never cop to it. She presents herself to you with an ironic smile. And then there's me. Between us, we keep our bases covered. Sounds that way. How are they to work with? Solid. We're all on the same page and nobody's afraid to speak his mind. We all get to how a crew of anarchist runners is supposed to work, even Rakta, who's still pretty new to the scene here in Berlin. It gets tense from time to time, but it's supposed to get tense. Better that than to have to defer to a leader and follow orders. We're all free and we know it. Anyway, enough about them. I don't come here to talk about work. Was there something else you wanted to talk about? I've been meaning to ask, what's up with the tattooed circuitry? Purely decorative, or... It is now, wasn't always though. What you're looking at used to be tattoo magic. Got it done when I was in Tokyo, doing a job for the Yakuza. What were you doing for the Yakuza? Work, the kind that you don't talk about afterwards. What were you doing in Tokyo? About 3 years ago. Spent a few months there. It was a business trip though. You know how it is. Straight from the airport to the hotel to the job site, and back to the hotel again afterwards. Rinse and repeat until the job is done. Not the most exciting way to travel, but the pay was good. Tattoo magic, huh? That's a new one on me. Yeah, it was for me too. It's a meta magic thing, a way of quickening spells to a person. Binding magic to the flesh so that it's almost impossible to get rid of. Anyway, long story short, I found a way to break it. Now it just looks pretty in lamplight. What did they do before you broke them? She pauses for a moment, considering. Finally, she shrugs. Sure, I'll tell you. Why not? Maybe knowing will keep you from making the same mistake. So when I went to work for the Yaks, they offered, no, insisted that I let them ink me. Said I'd need it for the job. Long story short, the tattoos did boost my abilities, but they also branded me, marked me as Yakuza property, and gave them an easy way of tracking me down from the astral plane. So how did you break the spell? That's an even longer story, and not one that I want to get into. Suffice to say that it started with killing the guy who inked me, and ended in a pretty dark place. The upshot is that I can't go back to Japan, ever, but at least I got my autonomy back. She pauses to light another cigarette. After she fills her lungs with smoke, she continues. So the moral of the story, I guess, is to not take an employer's word at face value. It's a lesson that every Shadowrunner needs to learn sooner or later, but I had a harder time with it than most. Now, can we talk about something else? Or better yet, can we just shut up and have a drink or two? All this yapping is making me thirsty. Yeah, you said it, sister. Hi, I had a piece of headwear shipped here. Could you install it? Takes the purchase order. Oh yes, this arrived this morning. I can certainly install it for you, but it won't be cheap. What's it going to be? I don't think I want any essences though, from what I remember. But what is this thing that I bought? Bright lights, things like that. Is it this? The encephalon? Adds intelligence. Oh, encephalon next, it was this, wasn't it? 2 intelligence, but costs a lot more. Cool, thanks, Doc. I don't want it. Welcome back. Why won't you I want to talk about who's beating up the junkie. Why won't you talk to me about him? Or her? Let's go and speak to Azerbaijan. Well, her really. I don't think he ever says anything anymore. Please excuse me, I have work to do. I got a question for you. I gotta go. A little busy right now. Hello, Luca Dwyer. I did it. Wolf, welcome back, and my congratulations on a job well done. Thanks. If you wanted Elsha dead, you could have just said so. I'd have taken the job either way. He nods thoughtfully. Good to know, but the purpose of this test is to gauge your adaptability. We need to know that you're willing to do what we tell you to do, regardless of your personal feelings on the matter. And we need to know that you'll roll with the punches if circumstances change mid-run. Many of your colleagues in the Shadow community have overinflated egos. They let their personal feelings interfere with their work. My organization needs to know that you will see tasks that we assign you through no matter what. The true purpose of that run was to that you just went on was to test your willingness to adapt to change. You're still being tested, by the way. If you work for my organization, you may be sometimes asked to do things that you find morally troubling. It might even appear that we're lying to you, but you can take comfort knowing that everything that we request of you is ultimately for the greater good. Look to her. I don't care what your organization's master plan is. Be as nefarious as you want. As long as I get paid, I'll do the work. After a brief pause, he nods, then reaches forward and places a cred stick in your hand. Congratulations, you've passed your audition. Welcome to the payroll. What now? Now we part ways. I'll call you when your services are needed. He taps a neatly trimmed fingernail against the earpiece of his comlink. When I contact you with a new task, the choice of whether you take it or leave it will be yours. If you take it, return here and I'll pay you a fair sum for your services. If you leave it, well, there will be some in my organization who will be quite unhappy. Good to know. Suppose I'll wait to hear from you then. Very good. I don't want anything altered. You don't have anything to offer me anymore, apparently. Hey Chief, what's up? You ever heard of an organization called the Lodge? I think I've heard something about a capital L Lodge, yeah. There was some chatter on a BBS that I used to hang out on a few years ago. It's a magic thing, I think. Sort of a bogeyman for conspiracy theorists. Anything else? Not really, no. Conspiracy theories aren't really my thing. I prefer to keep my eyes on what's ahead of me. Besides, most of that stuff is all bull anyway. On the whole, people are too disorganized and selfish to make a global conspiracy work. Anyway, that's all I know. He shrugs. I don't think it's anything to worry about. Besides, with the whole dragon thing, we've got enough on our plates already. Let me call you a good boy. Three unread messages. Payback is sweet. The screen flickers to life and Maxim's face appears. He's wearing a broad grin and you can hear the sounds of celebration in the background. Hey there, Muscle. Not sure if Tuck gave me the right address, but I figured it was worth a shot. I don't know if you heard, but our favourite Poly Club got hit from all sides by the F-State today. It was glorious. Anyway, just thought you'd want to share in the good news. And thanks for your help back there. I don't think we'd have made it out there without you. He raises a hand in salute. Take care, Wolf. The message ends and the image fades. You find yourself back at your inbox. From Alex to Wolf. Hey Wolf, Uncle Dietrich told me that I could message you here, so I figured that I should. He probably told you that I'm living at Samuel's, huh? Well, that's where I am. It's different, I'll give it that much. I like that I don't get pressured to hurt people here, so that's good. And nobody smacks me around, even though I can tell that a lot of the orcs and trolls want to. I do get yelled at a lot and called a lot of names, but I guess that making me feel bad about that kind of thing is all part of the plan. Life kind of sucks right now, but at least nobody is going to make me kill anyone. Uncle D says that it's going to get better, and maybe it will, I don't know. Anyway, what I mostly wanted to say was thanks for not killing me back at the Humanist compound. I had a gun on you, so you totally could have, but you didn't, and I'm really glad about that. Escabel, come see me at your earliest convenience. There's a matter we need to discuss. Nice, I don't have anything there. Okay, Escabel wants to talk to me apparently. I don't really know why. Hi, Duck. Welcome back. What can I do for you? I got your message. What do you want? I've got a job for you. I'm a little surprised you want to hire me. We haven't always seen eye to eye. That's true, we haven't, but I'm confident that you're the right man for the job. Good enough for me? Good, so let's get down to brass tacks. Back before I emigrated here from my native Spain, I worked in partnership with a Berlin-based R&D lab. The biotech that they were developing was very hush-hush, very cutting-edge. Our arrangement was that I would bankroll their research and that they, in turn, would provide me with unique merchandise to sell in my clinics. You have more than one? Certainly. I must confess that before I moved to Berlin, I was something of a celebrity doctor. I had a chain of triage clinics that stretched from Bilbao to Madrid. I was a very wealthy man. But then my name was slandered, and the fickle mistress that is public perception turned against me. An ugly business, I assure you. Even talking about my fall from grace makes my stomach turn. The injustice of it all is almost too much to bear. Just how was your name slandered? What did they accuse you of? What didn't they? Theft, medical malpractice, the sale of stolen goods. Other, more colourful accusations that do not bear repeating. But that was then, and this is now. I came here to Berlin to escape all of that. Of course, I also moved here to be closer to the lab that I funded, and the merchandise that I'm owed. So you want me to fetch your merchandise? Yes, and to find out what happened to the lab itself. The facility is locked down. Nearly impenetrable, and I have no idea why. As I was packing to move to Berlin, all was well. 16 hours later, I arrived to discover the building locked tight with my merchandise inside. The Turk, Altug, has been running surveillance on the site since I set up shop here. In that time, no one has entered, no one has left. Whatever went wrong in there, it must have killed the research team. I want you to find a way into that building, recover the cybertech that they were developing, and find out what happened to the researchers, in that order. Yeah, why didn't you approach Monica about it? Who says that I didn't? I had a, let's say, tumultuous friendship with your dear departed Monica. We had our ups and downs, you see, and on this subject she was most certainly down. That was her choice, and I'm hoping that you will be savvy enough to not make the same mistake. If the building's been abandoned, I'm surprised that the lot it's sitting on hasn't been gobbled up by some corp or other. Don't be. Back when I was a wealthy man, before my legal troubles, I paid the lease for a decade in advance. And before you say anything, yes, it was a huge expense. But what's locked away inside of that lab is worth 10 times what I spent on it. I don't want anyone laying claim to it but me. Pay me. I can't afford to pay you in Nuyen, and that's your own fault, by the way. You shut off a good chunk of my revenue when you pulled that stunt down in the sewers. What I can do is give you first crack at any biotech that you recover from the site, and make it available to you at a discount. This is top of the line ware that we're talking about, mind you. Better than anything else that I've got in stock. And because it's biotech, the essence lost from implanting it will be minimal. It's a win-win even for a shaman like you. So what's it going to be? Will you take the job or not? Yes. Excellent. The facility you're looking for is the former laboratory of Sutlin Bioscience. Take the U-Bahn to the and you will find it. Best of luck. Okay, good. Another new job. Probably the one that we'll go and do now, to be fair. When I say now, I'm going to go grab something to eat. I'll be back in a second. BRB. Ah, there we go. There we go. Pharma laboratory, AG chemical. Fine, Escobar's lab. We want Glory, Dietrich, and Iger, obviously. Lockdown. The ride to blah 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 is a dismal one. You and your company on the train, your only company on a train is an elderly dwarf in a ragged peacoat, and he spends most of his time muttering to himself. When the train rattles to a stop, he slowly rises from his perch and begins to hobble towards the doorway. The station itself isn't much different, an old broken down thing at the end of its useful life, feebly tottering towards obsolescence. This area of Berlin has clearly seen better days. A window of light shines down from the surface, and even that looks stale. Slowly, you begin to climb. Right, I bought a fuckload of new stuff, so 100% there's going to be something better. Browning Max is better. Right, Browning Max was 10. And she is a pistol girl, isn't she? I think they were all the pistols, so let's give her that. Dietrich, you've got throwing knives. I'm not sure I have anything. Throwing weapon related. I might have some, like, armor for you, though. Oh, I do have knives. It's the same thing. But let's give you that instead. Don't you have any armor? Apparently not. You've got a shotgun and a sniper. This is SMGs. Shotguns currently got that one. I would rather give you that one. It's better. Unless I have a better sniper rifle, in which case I'll give you that. The official sniper rifle of the CSA. Okay. And then there's me. I'm happy. The streets above the Adenauer Platz are dark and dismal. This Kiers has seen better days. Everything here reeks of economic depression and faded glory. Looming above you is a fortress-like, seemingly impregnable facility, with windows that have been shuttered with enormous steel panels, lending the entire building a sinister appearance. That's our target, subtle in bioscience. I wonder what happened in there. Might still be happening for all we know. That's a cheerful thought. Come on, boss, let's get this over with. What do you think these goons are? Well, they don't want to talk to us, whoever they are. We've got jack in. I don't have anyone to jack in. There's a pile of discarded tyres here. Pile of trash is steaming. Fetid waves of stench wash over you as you draw near. Ye gods, that's rank. I'll stay back here if you don't mind. I have better things to do than dig through a pile of decomposing trash. It might not be decomposition. That steam could be coming from a grate or a vent under that pile. Move it aside. There is indeed a vent. Dirt, dust and grime have caked around the corners. It's clear that no one has been through here in many months. You can see the hydraulic jacks locking the door in place near the bottom. Attempt to force the hydraulics into decompression mode. You strain against the smooth metal, wrenching on the hydraulics with all your might. After what seems like an eternity, you hear the tortured sound of tearing metal, and one of the jacks comes free from its housing. The resulting imbalance causes the door to shoot upwards, jamming into the top of the doorway with a metallic crunch. Broken beyond repair, the door is easy enough to push your way through. The path into the lab is clear. Excellent. If you excuse me, I'm eating. The terminal appears to contain an inventory control system for Subtlin Biosciences merchandise. The items are spelled out in amber letters against a solid black background. Glowing cursor awaits your input. Select Tissue Banks and Organ Farm. This entry provides a complete breakdown of the standard organs that are being grown in the organic chemistry wing of Subtlin Bioscience. It seems that the lab was outfitted with the capacity to mass-produce vat-grown metahuman organs, including hearts, kidneys, livers and lungs. This material would be then used for testing purposes. Breakdown and analysis. This entry contains a complete log of studies performed by Subtlin employees on the products of competing biotech companies. BioWare samples of Universal Omnitech, Shiawas, Proteus AG and Biogene have all gone under the knife here, and the results of each dissection have been meticulously recorded. Replication and fabrication contains notes on their attempts to replicate products that had previously dissected and studied. According to the information here, Subtlin had achieved a shocking level of success at producing generic versions of a wide variety of commercial and restricted BioWare products. These knockoff products were commissioned by an outside investor and had been moved into cold storage in the executive wing pending transport. Contract fulfillment. This entry contained a complete breakdown of the organs waiting in cold storage to be claimed by clients. Scanning over the list, you see a number of high-end security level enhancements in inventory. BioWare like this would normally run tens of thousands of Nuyen. If this is what Escabel was commissioning Subtlin to produce, he would undercut all of his competitors and still make an ungodly profit. Special products. Details a number of projects that involve invasive testing on awakened animals. There are listings for a number of hellhounds, including their complete medical histories. It appears that most of the experimental procedures listed were performed on a subject named Billy, but who or what Billy might be has been left undisclosed. I'm going to guess we're going to fight Billy at some point. This terminal governs the animal testing wing of Subtlin Bioscience. Data entries concerning animal test subjects and the procedures performed upon them fill the menu screen. Hellhound testing and Basilisk testing. This entry contains notes on a variety of invasive testing procedures that were performed on a kennel of hellhound test subjects. There are several memos appended to the file. Apparently the scientists working in the animal testing wing were less convinced that working with dangerous fire-breathing animals would yield useful results than the executives were. This entry covers various forms of experimentation and testing performed on Subtlin's prized possession, a rare albino basilisk, acquired from an exotic animal dealer in Portugal. It appears that the basilisk was being used as a primary focus of a passion project at Subtlin, an attempt to create a magically active piece of bioware. Why the executives in charge of the project felt that a basilisk would make an appropriate test subject is not clarified. The list of procedures performed on the creature is extensive, including a series of anesthetized thoracic surgeries. How do I get in there? This console seems to control the locking mechanism for the door in front of you. Keycard reader has been set into the front of the bezel. I need an access card. The door is locked by a high-tech maglock with a swipe key access system. But the status screen indicates that the lock has been overridden by a local computer on the network. I will deck it. Oh yeah. Actually, let's haste Iger. Come on! You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. A wild-eyed young man in a tattered lab coat confronts you. His beard is bushy and unkempt, but bare patches of skin show through. You there, who are you? He stalks towards you, his hands twitching. How dare you enter my domain? I thought this lab was abandoned. Abandoned? This is my territory, my home. You're an invader in my territory, Elfling, and you have murdered my peasantry. Dietrich mutters under his breath. We've got a live one here, boss. He continues his rant without pause for breath. You're a murderer, a monster, you'll pay. Who are you? I am Philip Rex, the Night King of Subtlein Bioscience. I will have you banished for your transgressions, Elfling, banished to the underworld, and left to the ravages of the all-powerful Billy. He pauses, blinking. Hold still while I fetch the robots that will banish you. Slow down, Night King. What are you talking about? I am the sovereign ruler of this building, now and forever. He puffs out his chest. By right of succession, the former laboratories of Subtlein Bioscience belong to me. Succession? Who died? Everybody. Everyone but me. Once I shared authority with another, my dear friend Heine. Our duumvirate led this building into a golden age. Together, we liberated the animal testing labs and annexed them into our territory. But then Heine got eaten by Billy, and the burden of leadership fell onto my shoulders. I did my best to make life good for the peasantry. I scrubbed their plastic cases on a daily basis, and I crooned pleasing melodies to ease their troubled minds. But those days are over now. My peasants are dead. You destroyed something beautiful. Alright, sire, I'm sorry about your peasants, but I'm on an important, quest. The grief on his face instantly vanishes. What replaces it looks like curiosity. Oh, well that changes everything. Perilous quests and civilian casualties go together like chocolate and peanut butter. I can't stay mad at you for that. Tell me about this quest of yours, good Elfling. Leave nothing to the imagination. He leans forward, smiling. You have my rapt attention. I need to get my hands on the BioWare prototypes that are being stored in the executive wing. His eyes go wide. The executive wing? Madness! Take this as a warning, noble stranger. If you intend to forge your way into that land of milk and honey, you do so at your own peril. The underworld stands between you and your goal, and the underworld is home to the murderous Billy. I think I've read about this Billy. He was Subtlein's albino basilisk, right? Was is right. Now he is so much more, a creature of legend. Years of experimentation have remade the beast into the ultimate killing machine. He's smarter than 10 men, and 5 times as deadly. If this Billy is standing in my way, I guess I'll have to kill him. He snorts. A fool's errand. Heine tried to kill Billy once. He thought that by eating the beast, we could steal its power. Hubris. Billy devoured my friend for his insolence, and the last remaining copy of Keycard E was lost. He was a beautiful fool, that Heine. I told him that we didn't need to eat Billy, that we could survive indefinitely on synthesized cardiac tissue and choco nubs. But he wouldn't listen, and Keycard E was lost, and without it, I can no longer access the executive wing and its expensive snack bar. I have eaten nothing but vat-grown metahuman organs for a year and a half, stranger. I would kill for a choco nub. I think that I've heard all I need to know about Billy. Just tell me how to get into the executive wing. Very well, stranger. If you cannot be dissuaded, I will help you. The ragged lab tech fishes his coat pocket with a bony hand and produces a thin slip of plastic. He presents it to you with a flourish. This is my most prized possession, the incomparable Keycard B. Using this, you can descend to the underworld and face Billy. If you should survive the encounter, search for the long-missing Keycard E. Use it to reopen the executive wing, and I will see to it that you are richly rewarded. What do you want? I want to know about the prototype. BioWare. It's BioWare, pretty standard stuff. Pain editors, trauma dampeners, orthoskin, things like that. And all of it was reverse engineered from existing Bioware products, right? I read up on Suttlin's process. Yes, that's right. Knockoffs. Dangerous work. Illegal most places, but not here in Berlin. Our investors needed it that way. I guess that explains why Esquivel didn't hire a company in Spain. Yes, too risky. Here in Berlin, no problems with the law, because there is no law. Just have to be careful. All for naught now, though. Our copies were good, just like the real thing. But who cares? It's all just meat in the end. Not to me it isn't. I need that stuff and I'm not leaving without it. Get me into the executive wing and we can both have what we want. Fill your pockets, take whatever you like. I, on the other hand, will avail myself of the snack bar. Tell me about your peasantry. I love them. They're like family to me. When I'm hungry, they're the ones who harvest the meat for me to cook from the cultured organ lab. When I'm in need of company, they keep me warm. They're drones, not people. You get that, right? They are people. They are my people. Just because you can't understand our bond, that doesn't mean it isn't real. Leave this one alone, boss. You ain't gonna change his mind. He's too far gone. You'll see. You may have killed 3 of my peasants, but I can activate more. They will return to me, and I will show them the love that only a true ruler can. I will bathe them in my affection, and they... How many more peasants does this building have? Oh, hundreds. The security system here is quite state-of-the-art, user-friendly too. It didn't take long to figure out how to make some peasants wake up and the others to go to sleep. I allow the majority of my peasants to rest peacefully, basking in the benevolence of my rule. I could wake them at any time, but why? I say, let them rest. Probably for the best. Maybe I could use your peasants to kill Billy for you. My peasants? Sent against that monster? Never. No, stranger. I tell you that would be a massacre. I would have their blood on my hands. I cannot do it, and I will not. End of discussion. I want to know more about this underworld. The nether realm that lies beyond the hallowed halls of Shadowrun bioscience. A nightmarish labyrinth of dripping pipes and filthy brickwork. Billy rules supreme down there now. To set foot into the underworld means certain death. Just to get this straight, we're talking about a sewer, right? The underworld is just a sewer? Yes, it is a sewer, but it's also a nightmarish labyrinth of... I gotcha. What happened here? What caused the lockdown? A calamitous series of events. It began with a spilled cup of soykaf and ended in terror and blood. There is a long, awkward pause. And? He blinks confusedly. You want more? Yes. Then you shall have one. Where shall I begin? On the morning of the lockdown, all was well. Geisler, an executive, was making his rounds, walking from console to console to check up on us. He held a bubbling cup of soykaf in his stubby little hands. We all knew that food and drink were forbidden outside of the employee lounge, but Geisler was a proud man, and he would not obey the rules. His pride was our undoing. He tripped and fell, and his soykaf spilled onto a console in the animal testing wing. There was a terrible snap of shorting circuits, coupled with the stench of ozone. All over the building, emergency lights flashed and alarms blared. The building went into quarantine mode. He raised his voice and gestures theatrically. Doors locked and shutters slammed close. We were all trapped like rats inside, but we were not afraid. We were sure that the malfunction would be fixed within the hour. We did not know what was coming for us. Unbeknownst to any of us, Geisler's devil beverage had done more than initiate a false quarantine. It had also shorted the locks on Billy's cage. The albino basilisk slips its bonds, and in that moment its reign of terror began. His voice climbs to a roar. Within half an hour of the spill, Billy had slaughtered everyone who could have disengaged the lockdown Executives were torn limb from limb, their business attire was shredded, their expenditure reports bathed in blood, and the rest of us were trapped inside with the savage beast. He falls silent, blinking as you watch. His expression clouds. When he speaks again, his voice is small. In the end, only Heiner and I remained. We managed to trap Billy in the underworld, but there was no hope of escape for us. It's been 2 years. Someone must have come knocking. No. As far as the outside world was concerned, we were still under quarantine protocols. Nobody knew why, and nobody cared. The building had presumably been sealed for a reason, and the world at large wasn't in a hurry to crack it open again. Heiner and I found ourselves completely isolated from the outside world, with a terrible creature running loose in the basement. Our choices were to give up and die, or to make the best of it. The manic cheer that you've come to expect floods back into the lab tech. He spreads his arms wide, a knowing smile on his face. As you can plainly see, we chose the latter. We persevered and eventually transformed this husk of a building into the glorious kingdom that you see yourself standing in today. It was all for the best. In the end, I tamed this land, and I have grown to love it. And I will never live anywhere else. Okay, bye. Looks like the media setup is wired into the building's security system. Paging through the computer's file system, you find a number of archived video feeds from the building's surveillance system. In addition, episodes 1 through 6 of an old Slovakian period fantasy called Night Kings of Lightning Hold have been saved to the machine's desktop. I've heard of that show. It's supposed to be horrible. I mean really, really bad. Never watched it myself, but I hear that it made Neil the Orc Barbarian look like high art. 18 months ago. As the video feed kicks in, Philip is engaged in an animated discussion with someone who's standing just outside of camera range. You can see his shoes and his shadow, but nothing more. The voice sounds human. You'd guess that the off-camera speaker is a man in his early 20s. Look, we've survived this long. If we play our cards right and do a proper bit of rationing, I reckon that we can live off the executive snack bar for a long time to come. We'll have plenty of fat and sugar, those won't be a problem. We've got mixed nuts for protein, and we can get our vitamins and minerals from diet bars. There aren't many of those, but like I said, we'll ration. I'd be willing to bet that we can hold out for 2 or 3 months on what we stashed away in the snack bar. We're sure to be rescued before we run dry. You're fooling yourself, man. Ignoring an unpleasant truth rather than facing it. We have to accept the fact that we could be stuck in here for the long haul. The snacks are great and all, but they can't be our staple foodstuff. We need to stretch them out as far as humanly possible. And that means supplementing them with something more substantial. There's a long pause. You don't mean... Look, just think of it like farming, right? If we look after our crops, we'll always have food to eat. We have enough supplies on hand to keep the tissue cultures in Org Chem Wing growing indefinitely. What I'm talking about is growing meat for our own survival, that's all it is. Metahuman meat, Phil. Synthetic hearts and livers and kidneys grown to be implanted into people like you and me. You're talking about eating people parts. It's fucking disgusting and I won't do it. Unless you fancy dying of malnutrition, you're gonna have to. You know that as well as I do. Organ meats are rich in vitamins and minerals. Choline, CoQ10, vitamin D, bioavailable iron. All things that we're gonna need if we want to survive in the long term. You won't find much vitamin D in licorice sticks and choco nubs. You're talking like they're never gonna rescue us. We're in Berlin, Heiner. What they? Who do you think's coming? We need to be prepared to survive here for a long time, maybe years, and that means making the most of the resources at our disposal. You're talking about resorting to cannibalism, man. No, I'm talking about eating meat. 14 months ago. An image flickers onto the frame, Philip leaning against a wall, listlessly chewing on an unidentifiable hunk of cooked meat. He looks miserable. A drone comes to inspect him and he pushes it away. Heiner's voice crackles in the intercom. Philip doesn't look up. I'm going now, Phil. No more arguments, okay? There's a long pause. In lieu of responding, Philip takes another bite of meat and gnashes at it with his teeth. I'll kill that fucking thing. You'll see. That goddamn basilisk is going down. Once we can get out into the sewer again, we might be able to find a way out. This is our chance, Philip. Wish me luck. Philip says nothing. The video continues to play, then cuts to static. 11 months ago. The video feed flickers onto the screen. In it, you find Philip standing in the corner of the room that you're now in. He looks haggard, exhausted, and he carries a haunted look in his eyes. Heiner is notably absent. Cheap synthesized music pipes in from somewhere off screen. Philip turns to stare in the direction that the music comes from. A smooth baritone voice sings out a phrase in Slovak. Half second later, a different voice shouts the translation in German. Night Kings of Lightning Hold! Philip stares glassy-eyed as the show begins. The synthesized music blares. A deep, trollish voice rumbles out of the media's center speakers. I, Titonius Rex, will defend my realm. I do so swear it before my magic sword, Argonar. This I do swear. An alarmingly breathy, elvish voice sings out in response. But Titonius, the Jubathon hordes will smite you even if you stay. The people in that valley are only peasants. You needn't throw your life away for them. Flee with me into the enchanted wood of Tralashin. Please make this stop. My life is sworn to protect those peasants, she-elf. Run back to your enchanted trees if you will, but a Night King will never flee. But Titonius, her voice comes out in a lilting wail. You cannot die. I love you. Then go to your father and beseech him to rally his elf troops southwards. For if Titonius Rex falls, Lightning Hold will fall, and Lightning Hold will not fall. The troll drones on, audibly struggling to emote and occasionally tripping over his lines. Overall, the acting quality is roughly on par with what you'd expect from a primary school Christmas pageant. Philip stares at the screen, listlessly chewing the meat. His nose is wrinkled with distaste, and his fists clench and unclench. Mercifully, the video feed cuts to static. 8 months ago. The screen flickers and a video feed of Philip pops onto the screen. He's standing in the corner, watching an episode of Night Kings of Lightning Hold. His jaw hangs slack and he stares at the screen in rapt attention. But father, Titonius Rex is risking his life, nay, his very soul, to defend Lightning Hold from the Jubathons. His enchanted sword, Argonar, feeds upon his honor and bravery. It seeks to transform him from a noble Night King into an evil demon lord. Philip's lips move silently, mouthing the words as they are spoken. Evidently, he's committed the entire script to memory. My darling daughter, that is why I cannot send my troops. Your beloved Titonius Rex walks the knife edge between light and darkness every time he draws that devil blade from his scabbard. It is long past time that you learn the truth about me, Brenethé. I was the one who trapped the demon lord Karabork within that blade. The breathy actress lets out a sharp gasp. Phil mimes the motion, and a tear begins to trace its way down his cheek. But father, you can't mean... Yes, my daughter. I was the one who they called Thunderspear, a sworn enemy of Titonius Rex's people, and the Hunger barbarian tribe. Then all of this is your fault. The Jubathons, the threat to my beloved soul, all of it. It was the only way to save Tralashin, my darling daughter. Tralashin, and your mother, whom I hid away when you were but a girl. She's still alive, Brenethé. A security drone floats by to inspect Philip idly. He reaches out and begins to stroke its casing, petting it as though it were a house cat. The video feed flickers and sputters out, and you find yourself back in the main menu. Today. Screen flickers and Philip appears on the screen. He appears to be dancing with one of the security's drones. The little machines weave and bob frantically to avoid colliding with him, and with every motion, the lab tech slides in to fill the empty space. Around and around they go, twirling and writhing across the laboratory floor. There's an enormous smile on Philip's face. Then the lights go dim and an alarm begins to sound. Danger, danger, intruder detected, security protocols engaged. I admire your bravery, noble vassal. Philip rests his hand on top of the little drone. But this is my fight. I, Philip Rex, will defend this land with my life. Indeed, my very soul. Sir, please clear the area. Hostiles inbound. No, noble spirit, it is you who must... I repeat, clear the area. Hostiles inbound. He slowly nods, his face beaming with pride. Maybe you're right. I am already a Night King. Perhaps this is your time to shine. I will not rob you of this moment of glory. I will allow you your moment in the sun. And when you return victorious, I will grant you lands and titles to reward your heroism. Please clear the area. Philip turns and steps out of camera range. The drone is joined by 2 others, which wait in a holding position facing the camera. The picture breaks into static and the video feed cuts off. Rather interesting. Okay, there is nothing in here. There's a couple of places to climb down. He also gave me this one, right? The door unlocks. And I can pick something up. Advanced medkit 2 goes to the stash. So I have a number of places I can climb down from now. Huh. That's clearance panel B. This one says climb up. Ah, okay, so if I couldn't have hacked that, that's how I get up in here, I think. And then down here then brings me to this room. Safe is locked with a similar key swipe block onto the door panels. I'll swipe that. It swings open, which gives me an auto injector for bliss. Um, what did that do? It paralyzed me. How fucking dare you? And where the fuck did you come from? Okay, you're paralyzed. Fuck my life. I am very happy with you. Oh no, I am not, sir. One damage left. Okay. Missed. Missed. Hang on a second, how come he can see me but I can't see him? That's not fair. That's bullshit is what that is. Right, I have an 80% chance to hit and you've missed 3 times in a row. Stop being a stupid moron. Jesus Christ, this team. Minus 1 AP. Sure. Right. Come on. Give him a slash. What's that? 9 damage. 9 damage. 7 damage. Potentially stuns. Pierces armor. Strips armor. Come on. Why do I find it so impossible to hit anything? 75% chance, misses twice. He's not a happy boy. Right, that does make me sad. You, kill him. Or, you know, miss. And just keep missing, it's fine. Fucking hell. I'm glad I got fucking hit there, quite frankly. Right, about fucking time. Christ. That's the executive key card. Where were they planning on trying to flee? There's nothing else in here, though. There's no other ways out. The gates, they finally opened. Thank you, my friend. You've granted me the secret desire that my heart yearned for most, a respectable supply of non-organ-based food. You will always be welcome in these hallowed halls. I, Philip Rex, do swear it. You're really into that Night Kings of Lightning Hold show, aren't you? Staring at you, he slowly nods. It is my life. My entire life. My reason for being. You know that you haven't seen the conclusion, right? There were only 6 episodes saved in that media center's memory. The show ran for 7. He reels as though he's been struck. You're saying there's more? That's what the program information said. 1 series, 7 episodes. You've seen 6. I had always thought that they had left the ending to the imagination, like a beautiful dream. He fidgets uncomfortably. But now the dream is over. I will never know peace until I have seen the conclusion for myself. He lurches forward, his hands clasped in supplication. You must help me. You must find a way to show me the final episode. I need it. I guess that I could disengage the quarantine, that'd re-establish the building's matrix link, and then I could download the show for you. He nods vigorously, patches of beard wobbling with motion. Yes, please, do it for me. Alright, calm down. We'll just need to get to a terminal and drop the quarantine. Then I'll copy the episode to your media center. Oh, thank you, thank you. Tears stream down his cheeks. This is the happiest day of my life. Yoink. Disengage the building's quarantine protocols. All it takes is a few keystrokes to disengage the quarantine. Apparently Philip isn't particularly well versed in basic building system operations. Finding a copy of the 7th episode of Night Kings of Lightning Hold proves to be a more ambitious undertaking. Eventually you find a pirate site for old TRID programs. According to the synopsis, the show ends with Titonius Rex's victory over the Jupathon hordes, after he inspires a peasant revolt to defeat the invaders. This development was not well received by the show's admittedly few fans, who complained that it came out of nowhere. In addition, many of the show's ongoing plot threads were left unresolved. You download the episode to Phil's media center. Ah, the intrepid elfling returns. The quarantine's off now. The final episode of your show is on the records computer. Yes, peace will be known and brought to the land. Phil takes off running in the direction of the records room. Wonderful. Can I go now? As you emerge, blinking into the light of day, you find yourself standing face to face with a veritable wall of security personnel. A man in a very expensive suit raises a megaphone to shout at you. Stay right where you are. The megaphone isn't necessary. I'm standing right here. You will place the stolen Bioware samples that you're carrying on the ground, then lie with your belly on your hands, with your hands on your head. Do it now, or I'll order my men to open fire. I didn't steal anything. The owner of this material commissioned me to retrieve it for him. Escobar, you mean? Yes, we know all about him. He has quite a reputation back in Spain. We're with Shiawase street scum, and that material infringes on 15 of our company's patents. The organs that you're carrying are based on our intellectual property. This is unbelievable. This place is locked down for 2 years and you choose today to come to visit. You think it's a coincidence? We came when the quarantine was broken. We've had eyes on this place since the lockdown went into effect. You called us here when you opened the doors. Why the wait? You could have broken into this place months ago. The building was quarantined, idiot. It's cheaper to set up a camera than it is to mount a hazmat cleanup effort. As long as that counterfeit merchandise was contained, we didn't care that it was in there, but it will not hit the streets. Now shut your mouth and hit the floor, or I'll order my men to open fire. Don't make me kill you, man. He shakes his head in disgust. Idiot Shadowrunner. You people don't know when to keep your mouths shut. Men, open! A shrill voice crackles over the building's intercom system. It reverberates through the empty streets. You will not threaten this man, Jubathon dog. The fuck? Too long have my people lived in fear of your aggression. I, Philip Rex, will protect this land from your mongrel deprivations. The corporate spokesperson turns to address the security officers behind him. You two, enter the building, find whoever's on the intercom and silence him. Yes, sir. He turns back to face you, reaching for the sidearm on his hip. And as for you... The lab tech's voice rings down from the speakers. Underneath it, you can hear the distinctive sound of fingers hammering on a keyboard. Peasants, arise and defend your home. You need only believe in yourselves. The power is yours. Okay, right, what are we doing? It feels like there is possibly a fireball that could go there. what can you do? Nice. Okay. Lots of missing going on around here, everybody. Well done. Who's... Oh, there's still someone over here. I don't even see you over here, man in a suit, although how convenient that you're the last one left. Wolf is not wounded, you're slightly wounded. You should perhaps heal yourself. Oh my god, can anyone hit him? Stop it! So let's be clear, because I summoned a giant monster, I now have to kill the giant monster because it's managed to escape my fucking control. Ah, sigh. That's it. Everyone get him. Thanks. As the smoke begins to clear, a cry of jubilation sounds out from the Subtlin Bioscience building's intercom system. We've done it! We've done it, my friends! The Jubathon hordes have been defeated! With this great victory, I declare a new age of exploration and commerce. My peasants will form trade agreements with all of our neighbouring kingdoms for the betterment of all. I hope that works out for you, Phil. Farewell, stalwart elfling. We will remember you always. You hear the rustle of sound of Phil pushing himself away from the intercom. A few seconds later, the building's external speakers fall silent. Okay, marvellous. So is that who was standing over here? Oh no, they're still over here. I thought they were going to have something to do with this. To be honest. To be honest with you. The U-Bahn trip back from the Adenauer Platz is a shaky one. Surprisingly, the train is packed. The only empty seats are the very back of the car. A haggard-looking young mother marches down the aisle, dragging her 3 screaming children behind her. 2 boys and a girl, each around 6 years old. As the woman nears you, her eyes fix on the frozen pouches of bioengineered meat that you liberated from Suttlin's executive freezer. She opens her mouth to say something, but at that moment, the little girl jams a finger into her brother's nose. The boy howls, and the young mother's shoulders slump. Slowly, robotically, she turns back towards her destination and begins to trundle forward, dragging her squalling offspring forward with the solemnity of a funeral procession. Eventually, the train hums to a stop. You debark gratefully, lugging a freezer's worth of BioWare samples behind you. How's Alexander doing? He's adjusting with difficulty. You accepting donations? No. Right, let's go turn this in. Ah, you're back. Do you have my merchandise? I do, in fact. He greedily snatches the samples from your hands. So you do. Yes, yes. This is exactly what I've been waiting for. Good work, Wolf. The doctor turns away, rifling through the samples and inspecting the labels. It looks like a kid in a candy store. As per our agreement, there will be no monetary compensation for this run, but if you'll give me a moment, I will add the samples you recovered to my inventory. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And now if you'll excuse me... Hang on. Fine, fine, but make this quick. I want to get this merchandise logged into inventory before it starts to thaw. Don't you want to know what caused the lockdown? A flicker of irritation passes over his face. He reluctantly turns back to face you. Yes, yes, I suppose that I do. Go ahead, tell me, I'm all ears. It was a stupid accident. Somebody spilled soy calf on a control console, and the bunch of test animals killed the researchers. That's... oh, he grimaces. That's frustrating, but I suppose that's all water under the bridge. I have my merchandise after all. One of the researchers survived. He's gone insane in there over the last couple of years. He refuses to leave. Thinks that he's something called a Night King. How tragic. As far as I'm concerned, he can stay there for as long as he likes. The lease is paid through 2061 and I don't need the building for anything. That's uncharacteristically generous of you, Doctor. The money is already spent, Wolf. I can't get a refund, and the cleanup costs on getting the building up and running would ruin me. So it's going to sit idle, one way or another. Anyway, I already have what I need from this facility. If your little friend wants to play out his fantasies in there, he's more than welcome. I wash my hands of it. The Shiawase Corporation had eyes on that building. I had to fight one of their retrieval teams. Oh, I can't say that I'm surprised. They were instrumental in engineering my downfall back in Spain. The bastards brought all manner of drummed-up charges against me. The tabloid press had a field day. I wouldn't worry about Shiawase. They may have their files on me, but they won't take any direct action against the Cruise Bazaar. I have information on several of their executives that would be quite embarrassing if it ever came to light. Okie doke. Go on then, let's have a look at what you've got. I found the schematic. Can you make and install it? Yes, I can. Right, is there anything with 0? Pain editor. +1 willpower, but -1 intelligence. Do I need intelligence for shit? There's like lots of 0.5s. I don't know if there's like a limit. You know what? I don't need it. I don't need it. Oh, we did the mission. We're gonna save. And now that we're saved, we're going to finish the stream. Thank you for watching, everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. I will catch you next time. Goodbye.